the parts that converted faster. So the same if you take Tamil Nadu and all these other states, jahan pe anti-Brahmin movement was promoted much more. There going from this, going away from the Hindu way of life happened much faster, right? So the problem happens at that level. I think that if we look at it that way, if we look at it from that perspective, we will see that. Hi, welcome, M. Shastri. I'll just finish this sentence and then you can join in, I guess. The point being here that if we take that into account, we actually did not promote enough of our elites in the regions that needed them. For example, in the Northeast, in Tamil Nadu, in West Bengal, in Kerala, the Hindu elites, the religious elites and other kinds of elites who are openly Hindu, political elites who are Hindu, religious elites who are Hindu, these kind of people were not promoted in these areas. I think we need to promote more elites who are religious, like somebody like Bageshwar Baba. Imagine 20 Bageshwar Babas in Tamil Nadu. I'm pretty sure there are religious leaders in these areas, but the temples are not in our hands, and the BJP will not openly fund these people. So there must be some kind of support system provided to them for them to kind of become the local level political and religious elites. And I think that is the one way that we can stop this thing in the near future. And again, going back to the temple freedom thing, again, temples are freed, then Hindus also have the financial and the social power to again bring back our culture. But unless we can do it, then exactly. So Sadhguru is there, but imagine we need more Sadhgurus. Okay, like we need more Sri Ravi Shankar, Sadhguru, Sai Baba, whoever we have. Like these people are Hindus unapologetically, right? So if you have 10 of these guys, then you are able to take over the narrative aspect also, and the power aspect in the local levels. Yeah.
M. Shastri, you can speak whatever we are saying, social capital and other things.
Yeah, so Tamil Nadu is kind of interesting, right? So effectively, since the 70s, Tamil Nadu has been left to its own devices. When Indira Gandhi came to power and Kamraj passed away, she essentially abandoned Tamil Nadu to its own devices. There's been no national party in Tamil Nadu since then. Since then, what's been happening is that it's essentially been a bipolar contest, right? The two parties people have been basically voting for one or the other party, right? And initially, at least until the early to mid 2000s, like Tamil Nadu was not that different from, say, Bihar or UP, right? So the only difference was that Tamil Nadu had institutions in place since the British time, and Bihar and UP never did have any institutions. So you had universities and all that already in place in Tamil Nadu. That's the only basic difference, right? You'd have thuggery, you'd have low-level violence, you'd have all the features that you'd get from Jungle Raj that would be used to maintain some level of political power. It wasn't until like the mid 2000s when we started having a boom, right? And the state started having money in its pockets that you had welfare politics set in. And a lot of Tamil parties leverage that really well, extremely well. Like they're pretty effective at doling out welfare. Jayalalitha started it. She started in a small scale in the early 2000s, but it didn't catch up until the mid 2000s. So you need to understand that people in Tamil Nadu, they have a particular political habit. They have really strong political bonds and connections to get things done for themselves, right? And the Dravidian parties actually leveraged this quite effectively to win political power. Then they're really not that powerful, to be honest, right? Like a DMK, even at its peak, does not get more than 20 to 23% of the vote. But उन लोग इतना कटवा कर they do so much vote cutting. They move people around. They know how to leverage those connections that they build through doling out welfare, that they are a very effective party. So for BJP, if it really wants to crack into Tamil Nadu politics, it really needs to get seats, right? It needs to get its foot through the door. It needs to rebuild that connection, that welfare connection, and it really needs to lean into this theory of public service, right? Public good. So I think academic man might know about this, but I think a lot of like Indian political scientists who study Indian politics, they came up with this theory. I think it was Bhargava, I believe, in his book Indian Politics, called as the theory of public good. Right? You can be the most horrible person on the planet, but as long as you're able to provide some welfare or help some person in their need, you will always win people's loyalty. So let me give you a personal example, right? I have cousins in Tamil Nadu. My uncle, he had a medical issue, right? Rather, in his family, someone had a medical issue. I think I don't remember if it was him or if his wife. So he reached out to his local DMK politician. He absolutely hates DMK, by the way. So he reached out to his local DMK politician through friends, and friends, and managed to get a hospital. His wife, or I believe it was his wife. His wife admitted in a hospital in due time and save her life. So I think these are the things that keeps Dravidian parties in power, and the BJP really needs to effectively build a parallel system to it. ADMK has that. That system's collapsing rather quickly. DMK has actually strengthened their delivery systems. That's the battle the BJP is fighting. Now, with regards to temple freedoms, I have a slightly different take, right? Temple freedoms is a very local issue. You're not going to convince a Hindu in the south to fight for temple freedoms in the north. They're completely two different issues. But you can get a Hindu to fight for temple freedoms in his own community. But that need needs to rise in his own community, right? अब क्या है कि with Tamil Nadu is also another special case. Maintaining temples in Tamil Nadu is a very expensive affair, right? You're going to have maybe 2 or 3 elephants, a goshala. Then you have these very ancient structures that needs to be constantly maintained, and you have to have visitor management. I mean, they're all very crowded places, right? And like when the British came and they started looting every society, no community had any money to maintain these structures, right? Even if you, let's say, privatize all the temples in Tamil Nadu, they will all go into losses because none of the community does not have resources to maintain them, at least to the level that they needs to, right? And the institutions themselves are like they themselves depend on doles. So this is one thing that I think folks who advocate for temple freedom, they really need to appreciate these things. It's not that cheap to maintain a temple. It's not that cheap to run a temple, right? If you have, say, 2 elephants in the Tamil Nadu temples, they need elephants, right? उनका बनाई वैसा है, right? हर सैटरडे को हर दिन एक रथ यात्रा रहता है. एंड सैटरडेज को एक स्पेशल रथ यात्रा रहता है. उसके लिए तुझे you need elephants, and just 2 elephants would cost you about 50 kgs of hay every day. 50 kgs of hay, right? And it's not small amount. So freedom say you need to be much more careful and much more cognizant about what temple freedoms is all about and what it means to those individual temples. Unless you have solutions for those individual temples, you're not going to get freedoms. And you also need to define freedoms, right? In TN, in Tamil Nadu, you might not need freedoms. You actually need autonomy. दोनों में बहुत फर्क है. And the third thing is like the church is not that powerful in Tamil Nadu. It's just that every other Hindu institutions is weaker. So I think the basis of comparison should be readjusted and reassessed a little bit.
No,
Okay,
I really appreciate the the lesson. I agree with you on some counts there. Then if we have to strengthen our, let's say, a Ramakrishna mission or a Sadguru or a Sri Sri Ravi Shankar or a any of these Bageshwar Baba, whatever, whoever, then the government must stop fining Hindus for building their own institutes. Na? Matlab, if a minority builds his institute, he is given tax exemption. तो एटलीस्ट हिंदूज को टैक्स एग्जम्पशन दे दो वो वाला कि अगर हिंदू भी रिलीजियस इंस्टीट्यूशन बना दे रामकृष्ण मिशन टाइप का स्कूल बना दे then you get tax exemption the same as minorities, then at least there will be a level playing field. Matlab, basically the government has been penalizing us for being Hindus for the last, I don't know, 100 years or so.
I think the problem with that is the consequent argument can also be that, hey, we also maintain your temple. So it's not an easy thing as to say that, hey, Hindus ko bhi tax exempt kar do karke. Because
I agree
there's
with
a lot
you
of
that if you maintain our temples, you do this. This is not something that is up for question. My point is this: that if Muslims and Christians can get disproportionate rights to their population because of their so-called unity based on religion, then if Hindus are united and ask for some concessions from government, they can. That's the whole point. Like Indian model of bargaining is that only. It is communitarian and based on kind of your unity at the community level, right? That is why castes are more important than Hindus per se.
No, I don't disagree. I mean, I don't disagree. But
we have a lot of common ground here. I don't think that.
Yeah.
I think our aims are similar, so we will have agreements and certain disagreements. But overall, I think the biggest point here being that both of our arms are again tied at the back, right?
Yes. So the approach.
One arm.
Yeah. So
of get
what I'm trying to say is the approach to that can't just be that center has to do things, right? You have to win the state as well. So we want temple freedoms. Let's not get about it, right? But to attain that, you can't just simply have a diktat from Delhi saying Madurai should be liberated and expect Madurai will just react nicely about it. No, it doesn't work that way, right?
No,
So
I am with you on that. You have to understand. I get your point. I agree with you. My point is, इसके बाद क्या करे? मतलब next what can we ask for or do? What we can ask for is give us more concessions as Hindus. Like you have given everyone else concession. हमको भी थोड़ा concession दे दो. मतलब now that we are voting for you in a united way, because that's the deal. That's the deal between the Indian political parties and any group. Muslims vote for whichever party gives them the most religious concessions. So we also have to start marketing in that way. कि हम लोग vote करेंगे, लेकिन you have to give us this. It may be unfair. On paper, it may be unfair, but it has to be given because we are voting for you.
Let me throw a little bit of a nugget at you because I think this. So the thing is, the best way to approach this is through states. State government का तू गर्दन पकड़ेगा ना, center will fold rather quickly.
I agree. लेकिन स्टेट में एक ही प्रॉब्लम मैं देख पा रहा हूँ कि स्टेट लेवल्स पे firstly if you have states like West Bengal, Bihar and these other kind of places where number one, non-Hindu factions are much more united in voting against the Hindu faction. Then capturing 25 states is very difficult. Like you can capture 20 states. Maybe you have your support base in Madhya Pradesh, Delhi, Maharashtra, all the big ones, Rajasthan, UP, and all these places. Himachal, Lelo, or South maybe you can even go up till Karnataka. But when it comes to Bengal, which is a sizable state, Tamil Nadu, another sizable state, even states like Bihar, which are again very badly fragmented, they're capturing the Hindu unity like against the state, like as in like demanding more stuff from the state as a Hindu. That becomes extremely difficult unless it is a properly planned, centralized thing from the top. Like we can't expect it to be a more of an organic movement. It has to be promoted heavily from the BJP or Sangh at every level. Then it maybe it can be possible, but it is a good way. I agree with you. It is a good way forward, I guess.
Yes and kind of no. I think the Sangh can do some work, sure, but I think as a community we also need to complement them, right? So what I'm trying to say is we lack a certain kind of tenacity. So just let's take both the problematic states, quote unquote problematic states you highlight, right? Tamil Nadu and West Bengal. It's not like the Hindu vote bank can't get things done in those states, right? If the Hindu vote bank wasn't powerful or wasn't something that state politicians do not fear over there, then in West Bengal you wouldn't have Dhiga Jagannath, right? Mamata Banerjee wouldn't go out of her way to basically promote Dhiga Jagannath, right? In the same way, Stalin, the dudes are supposed to be avowed atheists. He's actually Christian, but वो भी आजकल मुर्गन के पीछे जा रहा है, कार्तिकेय के पीछे जा रहा है, right? They are trying to promote Murugan and Kartikeya as only Tamil gods, and they're trying to do this with Shiva as well. Like it's kind of funny, but correct. I mean, this shows that there is they're obviously trying to get ahead of the curve, right? So where can the Sangh be useful here? The Sangh can actually push it further, right? Maybe have the BJP push the agenda further. Maybe push Mamata Banerjee further. Maybe in the South, Sadhguru can do a little bit further. There's definitely a role for the Sangh. But on the other hand, the community also needs the tenacity to say, हाँ, अब इसको यहाँ पर पकड़ा, अब इसको यहाँ से खींचना है, right? We got a hold of an inch. Now it's time to pull a feet. So that is much more important than Sangh has to do things, BJP has to do things, because we have to somehow complement their actions as well. That's quite important.
No, I wholeheartedly agree with you. The point is, I lose hope when I see Hindus voting for 1,000 rupees in West Bengal. That is where matlab, by the time maybe I see some action. Again, not to say that things haven't changed. Maybe 5 years ago, if you check social media accounts in West Bengal, YouTube comment sections, Facebook comment sections, and all that stuff. If you checked it, and now if you check it, and it's very easy, you can just translate comments now. If you check it, you'll go crazy. Like West Bengal, people are actually supportive of Hindutva, okay, which is huge. But the point is that our time is declining very fast, and what we are trying to promote as a community, a kind of, at this point, global community of disenfranchised people at this point, it's very difficult to achieve without you see, we've delegated our leadership to political parties, right? That is our biggest flaw. And because we've done that, our ancestors also did that kind of. They were also partly responsible for this. Um, because of that, because of this problematic attitude, we are now having to build this basic leadership thing from the ground up. Okay, we have to now completely reimagine how to lead our own people. So ये थोड़ा difficult, but it's time consuming.
I think that's a very defeatist way of looking at it. The thing is that you don't need to build leadership here. You just need to provide adequate support to it. The thing is, I've seen this with my own eyes in the 90s in Maharashtra. I mean, you definitely had Bala Sahib Thackeray, but Thackeray could only control maybe Dadar and Worli and below that. But you still needed people in the hinterland. You still needed people in the suburbs. That kind of leadership, it did not just come up because the community said we need to build leadership. Ek banda aaya, that guy was charismatic. He brought some people along. Others brought other people along and said, "Ye dekh, ye tere liye karke dikhayega." Right? That I
agree with you. I agree with you there. But I think
let me just finish. No, let me just finish. I think that level of tenacity needs to be resurrected. Right?
No, I get that. I get that. I get that. I think the example you provided is very good, but the problem here being that जो महाराष्ट्र में हो सकता था और हो सकता है, Maharashtra is neither the financial capital of India, essentially. Mumbai is the financial capital. Maharashtra is doing quite well as well.
But in the 80s, and 90s, it was completely devastated. Right? I mean,
no, but it was horrible like West Bengal, right? Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like in West Bengal.
No, I mean, I don't think you understand this. You only look at Mumbai as a financial capital, but Mumbai, before it was a financial capital, it was also a textile capital. You have like 1 mill in Mumbai used to employ 55,000 people directly. उनको pensions भी देते थे, घर भी देते थे, उनका education सब देखभाल करते थे. When the mills collapsed in the late 80s and 90s, that I mean, without RBI in Mumbai, Mumbai would have turned out to become a more basket case than Kolkata.
Yeah.
So I think you shouldn't dismiss that.
I think like the Baba Sahib Thackeray movement helped it kind of like the Marathi Manus thing helped it at that time. I don't know.
I mean, to some extent, he did, right? He stemmed the bleeding. Because what was happening was that while you had folks like Datta Samant, complete socialist communist, who essentially like closed mills down effectively. Business ही नहीं करने दिया. Bala Sahib.
That's what I'm saying.
Bala Sahib was the only one fighting against it. He failed. He failed, but he was the only one fighting against it. But
that's the point. Like you had a guy like I'm not I won't know Bala Sahib's history that intricately, but as far as I understood, because he took on the commies, head on kind of, there was a huge resistance. But ye Bengal mein nahi hua. Matlab, and same in Tamil Nadu, as you just mentioned a few minutes back, that Tamil Nadu has this whole delivery system, which is a very, what you described is essentially West Bengal without the political violence, a slightly more efficient version of West Bengal.
Yeah, I mean the thing, it wasn't like
and Bengali leadership. You will see that, like,
but I'm saying Tamil Nadu and West Bengal was not indistinguished. Well, you couldn't distinguish between the two in the 90s or 2000s. Right? I mean, I'm not trying to. Your cynicism is valid, but I'm also trying to say that this is not a permanent situation. ये कभी भी है ना ऐसा minus violence की तरह हो सकता है, and you have to be ready for that next stage as well. But Where were we before I interrupted you? I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Uh,
Let's
yeah, yeah,
today. I mean, this is a fantastic topic, but let's get back
yeah,
to
yeah,
it. I
yeah. So
think Nina
we'll,
is getting
yeah,
a
yeah.
bit
So
Yeah,
we
go
angry.
will,
ahead.
yeah.
Huh.
So last question, I will request you to answer the same from
Yeah.
Shastri. RSS is too big a player to be destroyed, but the issue is that can we afford to wait until Sangh rebuilds another party? Your last comments and answer to this, and then we will wind up the show.
Okay. I um, I agree. I agree. We can't afford the time till the Sangh may be taking on another pet project of politics, and that is where the Tapan Ghosh politics, the political model you actually mentioned 2 minutes ago in Maharashtra, where the more I'm talking to M. Shastri here, where kind of local leaders were trying to do their stuff. That kind of thing is very important, but the problem I see it happening where uh, is that in certain states it is very like the people are so over dependent on the government that it is very difficult for new organic leaders to come up. Like, I'll tell you the very basic difference. In panchayats of Madhya Pradesh, for example, you have Naya Neta. Like in local villages, the guys who win the panchayat, they are not necessarily affiliated to BJP or Congress always. Okay, sometimes they might be, but majority of the times they are not. In Bengal, every like street, whoever is the leader has to be affiliated to a party, which basically means that uh, your entire existence, your every step of your life, you are linked to a political party. Even if it's the opposition party, it is a political party. Okay, and that is where the limitation is happening. And in that sense, I'll also connect it to what Ninad is asking about. Why is BJP not embracing its inner lion? हाँ यही मैं बोलना चाहता था कि basically if that's why we keep falling back on the BJP. Like today, I can let's say start leading a public rally in West Bengal, okay, and I can demand. We tried that with the Abhaya case and this and that many things. Every time anyone creates a new outfit or new system of politics in West Bengal, the police reaches home and it is over. पुलिस या कोई अधिकारी पहुंच जाएगा and there are no protections. You are basically like you're screwed. Like the top YouTubers in this state have been arrested more than the top criminals of this state. Okay, the class of leader. The only reason that we are heavily dependent on BJP or Sangh is because in West Bengal there are no basic freedoms. In Maharashtra, maybe I can go to a guy and voice my opinion against the state. Okay, or country also. So my country as in the central government. But if I go in West Bengal and go outside my house and start talking against the government, I'll be arrested the next day, next morning. Okay. And if I do it too much, then nobody will find me after a week. So since our basic rights are not there in West Bengal, and maybe I think similar stuff happen on the down low in Tamil Nadu. Maybe a much smaller version, but maybe sometimes it might happen that if you are hounded, like this is what the left does. The left hounds your life. They will destroy your reputation, your job, your family. People also have families to get back to, and they are scared. And this is where we overly depend on the BJP and the Sangh. And I think that's the whole problem as well, that the BJP as a political party in the center cannot do a lot of things suddenly, which we are expecting it to do. But again, we don't have a choice. So it's very much like a rock and a hard place. Like we're either gonna get screwed by the state or we're gonna get screwed by the center. Like, take your choice. So it's kind of like that. Anyway,
Can I add one more thing to this?
yeah.
I
And then
think
we can,
I think it's worth having a sort of like a Shiv Sena style model in the country, right? The reason why I like the fact that T. Raja in Telangana was booted out is because there is a need for a more harder-edged Hindutva party on whom we can leverage, put some support should the situation arise that where we need a little bit more harder edge, right? You can't
Yeah.
have the BJP do that. I think it's worth having two parties where one is the more gentler party and the other one is a little, let's
Yeah,
call it
yeah, yeah.
less gentle, right? In
Yes.
Maharashtra,
Yes.
the Sena always took up the stick, whereas the BJP always had the carrots.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I agree. I agree. Um, Again, that's very difficult. I don't see that happening in West Bengal. Yes, other states, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, all that go crazy. But in West Bengal, like I said, every aspect of our lives is like you're living in a panopticon. You're living in a like 1984 type dystopian future. Okay. So let's see. Let's hope. I am hopeful for the future. I'll just take this question. We can then end. Question for the panel. Assuming we now get a self-destructive government, what is self-destructive government? Okay. What is your optimistic and pessimistic timeline revival time? देखो pessimistic timeline तो बहुत है 30 साल होगा. But optimistic timeline is within 10 years. I think we can get West Bengal. देखो West Bengal is not completely lacking. Okay, West Bengal को ठीक करने में you need at least 10 years though. And the damage that they have done, especially the education system, उसको reverse करने में to build skilled labor who can be more atmanirbhar and stuff, that will take 10 years. I don't see anything less than that working. At least 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. What happened to my mouse now?
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you. Thank you to Academic Man. Thank you to Munshi Shastri for joining this debate. It was really interesting. We had a lot of good questions, good discussions. I think we're going to carry forward this in our next live stream. We'll have an audience reaction session itself. So I would request people who are watching this, consider taking the membership of the channel so that we can host much better live streams and much better audience reaction sessions with the members as well. And I would request people also I'll show this book to people as well. So this is a book written by somebody who is not a born Hindu. Okay, it is Sam Bedrick, a Hindu guide to advocacy and activism. So do go ahead and buy this book and read, because ideally this book should be written by a Hindu from India, but unfortunately it has happened. So do consider buying this book, and thank you again to Academic Man for coming. And we will have a discussion on social capital and how to solve problems in our next live stream.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes. Thank you.
Yeah,
Jai
yeah.
Shri
No,
Ram,
I
Vande Mataram.
Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.